Topic Thunder, it's Topic Thunder. Just acknowledge it, knowledge with no scholarships. It's Topic Thunder, it's Topic Thunder. Breaking everything down, tech to politics. It's Topic Thunder, it's Topic Thunder. We don't tell you what you want, we just give you what you need. It's Topic Thunder, it's Topic Thunder. News, brews, and views from these Chi-Town streets. Topic Thunder.
You heard the man, ladies and gentlemen. It's Topic Thunder. Welcome in to what I just casually call the Internet Saloon. My name is Brooks. That's Ben, and we are your info tenders, folks. If this is your first, second, or third time in the show, we get it. We're cool. Welcome in. There are plenty of seats available at the bar. There are special seats available at what we call, again, the Internet Saloon. Those are longtime and card-carrying members of the world's most dangerous chat zone. We host that right here, and that's called the Thunderdome. And you see them right over there. We're waiting for it. Trust us, we're not just crazy and just
right. Someone will eventually. Hey, there we go. All right, finally, because we were looking like frauds for a second. If you had just tuned in, if you were like for the first time ever, you tuned into this show and you're like, these motherfuckers. They're like, oh, what? There's the Thunderdome. What the fuck is that? There's not even anybody in there.
Are these guys ill? Are they having a crisis? Do we need to call the authorities?
Man.
But no, you don't.
Nope.
Like I said, folks,
there they are, Ryan Hansen and Chris, two of the regulars in the bar,
strolling in as they are, casually and coolly, a little bit late. Look, I guess you never want to really be at the bar when it opens, right? What fun is that? There is my pops.
Yes,
Dad Efren Brooks. And we have Amy Cleaver, world's most dangerous reporter, aka Gigi, aka the love of my life. That's Angela. So, folks, if you're just kind of figuring out what we do here, or if you're longtime listeners, Topic Thunder is a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And along the way, we like to educate, we like to laugh, we like to have a conversation, and that conversation is the lifeblood of the show. So I guess without further ado, we always like to open the show with a little beverage. Sometimes the beverage involves THC. Go back and look at some past episodes where Ben down like I think 100 milligrams of liquid THC.
Yes, fun times.
Got progressively fun. But we all, libations are part of the Internet Saloon, like it or not, whether they're inhaled or they're ingested. And at this moment, we're celebrating Oktoberfest, and we're going to do it kind of old school with a little bit of Dunkel, a Dunkel beer, Ben. It's a Dunkel beer. Can I say that again, please?
Dunkel beer.
Dunkel, which means dark in German. But this is the Hofbrau Dunkel. And it's a personal favorite. This is nothing new to my palate. I honestly, at this point, Ben, if you had to guess, and I guess let's just put this. We'll just put this out there to the Thunderdome too, folks. If you had to guess what number episode of Topic Thunder this is,
oh man,
what would you say it is?
I feel like we weren't that last time you had mentioned a number. We weren't far off from, I want to say, a milestone of something like 200. So I feel like you're bringing it up because you're not bringing it up because it's episode 189 or something. I feel like you're asking this question because it's right there on the cusp of a milestone.
It actually isn't. There's no rhyme or reason for it. I just
All right. Well, I was completely wrong. I read the situation wrong. Surprise.
And I certainly didn't mean to blow the allure of Brooks being a mysterious, deep thinking dude that leaves Easter eggs everywhere. No, it was just this is episode 128.
Oh, okay.
So again, no milestone or anything like that. Hofbrau, what, you dated his sister? I need it, Dad. Can we have an episode about this lady you dated that was not my mom? I would love to.
I think he's asking. It was a question. You dated Hofbrau's sister.
Did I? No. Did I? Hofbrau?
I don't know.
No. Never did.
But I do recognize that mug. I've never had a Hofbrau, but I do recognize that mug and that logo.
So
I feel like my grandfather had a mug like that that held like coins in his garage. Like it was like his coin collection. Ma Jordan, who by the way we love you, Ma. Maybe that's where my memory is on this. I don't know if Gramps had. I feel like Gramps
yeah.
had a mug like that. I feel like it was like his penny jar or some shit like that. But I might be off on what it was.
Like Gigi says, everybody's grandfather had that Stein, right? They had surprisingly, it's actually a still active brewery, and this is actually a really good beer in the sense that it is not heavy at all. So if you go into
Okay.
it thinking, oh, it's a dark beer like Guinness, no.
Right, because that was what I was thinking too. Because I'm not really a dark beer guy.
Yeah, this is not that type of beer. This
I'm
is
not into
just
foreign beers usually.
foreign beers. Is that like a, I don't know, it sounds like a James Jackson like kind of
Foreign
like
beers, yes, that's the name of it's a name of a track.
Eric Clapton. It was a foreign man, not
There's
foreign
a
beers.
crazy guitar solo in that song.
Forever Man was the name. I always thought so. Oh, truth be told, I was like 38 years old when I realized that Foreigner Man, which I thought the Eric Clapton song Forever Man was called, was not Foreigner Man. It was Forever Man.
There's always those songs that you're like, wait a minute, I didn't. When you realize that what you were hearing is not exactly what you thought you were hearing. Yeah, I've had many of those.
Foreigner Man, Foreigner Man, Foreigner Man, Foreigner Man, Foreigner Man, not Forever Man. See, I even got the syllables wrong. Man, the things that
Oh,
hey, I don't know. I don't know where that's gonna go. I know where it's gonna go. Actually, I lied. I know exactly where it's gonna go. It's gonna go right into headlines because I have no other way to transition into the most creatively named segment of all times, folks. Welcome. We could do, I guess, like we could do a mailbag Monday and be like, we thought of it first, but we
right.
didn't do that.
We just take the easiest route possible.
Headlines. And that's what you're going to get, folks, with headlines. So, Ben, last week's show, I think, was really dense, really heavy. So there's going to be a nice mix of things in here. Ben, did you hear that we lost a stealth fighter?
No, this was news to me. I saw in the prep, I was going, was getting the stories ready that you sent to me, and I saw that this was going to lead things off. And I was kind of surprised because there was obviously some other big stories that are out there. The UAW strike I thought might lead things off, but I'm happy that this is a story I know nothing about. These are always the most fun stories for me that I don't really have an opinion yet on. I don't really know much about. It sounds very bad that the Marine Corps lost a stealth fighter jet. But smarten me up here. What's to know here? There's surely going more to this story. The military doesn't just lose airplanes.
Oh, so okay, so you know me actually. Okay, all right, Ben. I see you. Let's just get into it. Let me give you some background if you're not familiar with this particular situation. And yes, we can certainly talk about the strike. But I was like,
yeah, we've talked about strikes a lot. Here's the quick and dirty of it. We're in solidarity with the labor here.
that is we are the labor. So why wouldn't we be, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Washington D.C. Hello from the AP Wire. That dates me, by the way. The crash of an F-35B Joint Strike Fighter in South Carolina over the weekend has raised numerous questions about what prompted the pilot to eject and how the $100 million warplane was able to keep flying pilotlessly for 60 miles before crashing.
I'm sorry, what now?
And how the $100 million warplane was able to keep flying pilotlessly for 60 miles before crashing.
Okay, yeah, I'd like to know. We should probably get to the bottom of that. Yeah.
Here's what is known about the modern warplane and its latest incident. First of all, let me tell you this. The F-35 is like what they call a fifth generation aircraft, right?
Okay.
Being a little bit of an unannounced aviation jerk and geek, the F-35 is a multi-role aircraft. It is adaptable. It was designed to be adaptable. There are some that are bought by the Navy, the Air Force, and the Marines, and each have a different configuration. We'll talk about that in a little bit. It was designed to be able to be very multifunctional, which means it's good at air to air, surface to air, air to water, and in a lot of instances is a very advanced electronic warfare aircraft. It has a ton of electronic warfare capabilities. Oh, and by the way, it's stealth, which means it has the latest technology in not only design.
Wait. Donald Trump told me that means it's literally invisible.
He also looked at the sun during an eclipse, so he, of course, lost a lot of acuity in his vision at that point. So that explains that. No? Or that Donald Trump's just a fucking liar.
Or he's just an idiot. One of the two.
Yeah.
Sorry, I sidetracked us there.
And the worst thing that Ben, how dare you? It triggered me. So the F-35 is a stealth aircraft. It's literally designed aerodynamically to absorb and or deflect radar signals, and the paint is specifically designed to absorb energy, aka radar signals. So there's a lot about this plane that, like, oh, I don't know, if you lose one, it becomes very difficult to find it.
Right, because it's stealth.
And that is exactly what happened. Because
Jesus.
the aircraft,
so this pilotless aircraft was flying across the sky for 60 miles and no one knew where it was. That's awesome.
Oh, that's just the tip of the spear, Ben, because
perfect.
This aircraft initiated the pilot ejection system.
Huh.
Let me repeat that, just in case. The aircraft initiated the pilot ejection system. Now, there's another story that I have following this up, and I've already read, so there's no need to go into it right now or put it up if you want. But this is unique to the Marine aircraft. The Air Force and the Navy have aircraft that basically take off from a horizontal to vertical position. The Marine version is specifically designed. Remember when I said it's customizable? It's specifically designed to be able to take off vertically like a helicopter, because it can angle its jets and come up from, like, I don't know, say like a Marine vessel. Like, we've got a landing vessel, and for air support for this limited operation, we've got one F-35. Gung ho. This particular vessel was a Marine version of this. So the aircraft itself sensed an immediate danger or something that, while it was flying horizontally, would normally be triggered while it was flying vertically. Truth be told, this aircraft has been plagued with all kinds of delays and disasters. It is, if we ever, we've talked about this topic quite a bit, Pentagon spending, and like just absolute black holes of our tax dollars into Pentagon programs that like delayed and never pan out. This is the prime example of that, the F-35 program. For numerous reasons, we're not going to go into it. It's not important right now. But what is important is that this particular aircraft was designed to sense something that was immediately wrong with the aircraft. Now, the other story that I linked to you actually is probably worth putting up. One of the most highly advanced and technological feats of aeronautics ever. After the pilot ejected, this aircraft, by eyewitnesses, was apparently flying upside down.
Wait. So he ejected while flying upside down? Or he ejected a plane inverted?
The pilot, let's be very clear about this, Ben. The pilot did not eject himself.
Right.
The machine ejected him.
Yeah. while he was flying upside down.
That apparently
Well,
is
that seems
no,
like
it was
something out of a
before.
cartoon, right? Like where it shoots him into the ground, like it ejects him directly into the ground. Or some
The
shit.
apparently not the pilot was ejected prior to this inverted flight, and then
Interesting.
while this family of four was in their backyard, they tell a little cute story of how the little boy like salutes because they're by the Air Force base in South Carolina. So it's like this is not an uncommon thing to see like fighter
Right,
jets, right?
sure.
But it's uncommon to see the top of the airplane as it's passing by you, as opposed to the bottom of the airplane. And that's what this family saw. And they only realized this after it had crashed and they recognized that there was a little
Wow.
boom, right? Let me say this. I'm glad that the pilot's okay. Because that's
See, now this
messed
story says the
up.
pilot had ejected safely.
That's a very interesting way of phrasing it.
Yeah.
Because if you continue, I think it's the first story. Hold on, it's the AP story that does say that because it's the Marine version and it's a safety mechanism of the
Yeah, no, I
vertical
had that up
flight
on the
option,
screen.
right? So
Yeah.
something triggered the I'm going vertical, and there's something
It's this right here, right? That it's one of the 3 variants that has an auto eject function on its seat ejection,
Mhm.
on the ejection seat, according to seat manufacturer Martin Baker.
So I'm not. I'll just cut to the chase right now, right?
Yeah, I guess
What's
so. What is the conspiracy theory that we may have here? What funny business might be going
was
on
this
here?
jet hacked?
Interesting. Well, that would have been crazy. They wouldn't tell us that.
Right? And there's a lot of mystery over what exactly happened and why the pilot had to eject. Was it triggered manually? Was it triggered by the system itself? But what was wrong?
Yeah, like why? What did it sense was an immediate danger?
Some of the Twitter accounts that I followed for a while, a couple of them have been actually vetted out as like Air Force and Navy worthy. Have all in unison said you Tom Nichols is a phenomenal follow on the thing that used to be called Twitter, and you can find him elsewhere. But even he agreed. He taught at the War College and is an expert in Russian military stuff. Even he said it is extremely rare that a pilot would eject from a system that is, by all accounts, flying normally.
Right.
The plane was apparently not in distress before the event. There were no calls for like no joy, no like hey hey I'm having problems with aviation. What the fuck's going on? Hey, I don't know. So
Right. No distress calls or anything of that nature.
none. It just happened. Now they have found the wreckage again, some 60 miles away.
Right.
Right? And nobody was hurt in apparently with the wreckage.
And that seems fairly lucky, right? Like
Very lucky because this was again.
that reminds me of, remember golfer Payne Stewart?
Oh yeah,
Remember his plane? He was flying on a private plane and it was compromised. And it lost pressure and it ended up continuing to fly for like a considerable distance.
Didn't they this is before 9/11, right?
Oh yes,
this is
yes,
okay. So this,
9/11.
oh my shit,
I believe so.
And they had military jets following that. They were like side by side.
Sure
with
did.
this like Cessna, like
Yep,
G6.
prepared to shoot it down if they had to. If it was going to go down in a residential area, they were prepared to shoot it down. I remember that.
That is that great recall on that, Ben, because yeah, again, just saying. Look, there's it was
1999, by the way. So yes, pre 9/11.
Thank you. That is insane to think about that had happened, and that one of our most advanced pieces of military hardware could possibly be compromised.
So So on October 25th, 1999, a chartered Learjet 35 business jet was scheduled to fly from Orlando, Florida to Dallas, Texas. Early in the flight, the aircraft, which was climbing to its assigned altitude on autopilot, lost cabin pressure, and all 6 on board were incapacitated by hypoxia, lack of oxygen in the brain and body. The aircraft continued climbing past its assigned altitude, then failed to make the westward turn toward Dallas over North Florida, and continued its northwestern course, flying over the southern and midwestern United States for almost 4 hours and 1,500 miles. The plane ran out of fuel over South Dakota and crashed near Aberdeen after an uncontrolled descent. 1,500 miles from Florida to the Dakotas. It flew unmanned, and we just let it. Like, that happened in America. There you go.
Which is cool because that's a private plane that doesn't have an unnamed level of weaponry aboard.
Right. Yeah.
The F-35 can carry things like drones, cruise missiles, and nuclear weapons. Literally, this thing is built to house all types of weaponry.
So it would be a big problem if it were to have been, say, hacked by unscrupulous people.
I don't know what you're talking about.
That would be a game changer. I wonder if there's any like enemies of our country that are like really well known for hacking.
I don't know. We don't.
I can't come up with that.
We don't talk about those things here. What we do talk about, and actually, we haven't talked about, and this is my bad, and I feel really guilty about this. Something very significant happened today in what is properly and traditionally Armenia. If you're not familiar with Armenia, really, not gonna blame you.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't. Honestly, I probably would. It would take me a minute to find it on a map.
It's not even about.
I know it's in Europe somewhere.
It's
right?
It's actually just east of Turkey, so it's not necessarily considered Europe. I believe that is. I'm not sure what continent that falls
what
upon.
they call that. Yeah,
but it is what we would refer to as the Middle East, or at least very at the stretch Southeast Europe, but probably more like Northwest Middle East, Asia.
Asia is what Gigi's. She's the smartest person.
She is truly the smartest person I know too. So, this is sadly nothing new to the Armenian people. There is something very historically known as the Armenian Genocide. And this was conducted by NATO member Turkey not necessarily a long time ago, but long enough ago. There's a certain corridor of land in the mountainous region between Armenia and what we call Azerbaijan. I've
heard it pronounced as Azerbaijan.
Azerbaijan too. Oh, sure. Again, and I'm often.
Who knows? Look, the way I heard, mine was in a wrestling context, pro wrestling context, so it very well could have been mispronounced.
Azerbaijan is probably right. I typically do not hear these words. I read these words, so I'm literally in my head, like trying to do the phonetics of it. Sorry, I'm not. Yeah, but
it's a fun game we play.
It really is. Gigi loves when I mispronounce things. She's told me.
Yes.
So there is a certain Azerbaijan is what she's telling me. So it's great. It's a super producer, Gigi. There is a certain corridor in the Nagorno-Karabakh region that was basically shelled, destroyed. All types of Armenian forces were attacked, and this has been going on for quite some time. In fact, there's been a blockade of aid and supplies. They basically have been starving these people, these Armenian people, these ethnic Armenian people for over 6 months. And I actually haven't mentioned it once. So in my fault, we try to bring these things to light. We try to talk about things that other people aren't. and nobody's talking about this. And this is a genocide in progress, not unlike Ukraine and not unlike Iran, which we've talked about. There has been a false flag.
A lot of it going on around the place, around the world.
Imagine that. Did you not cover it on the show? But did you hear about the Sikh, the Canadian Sikh that was murdered by an
Yes, and Justin Trudeau in front of the Canadian government. I saw a clip of him outright saying that there's
India
evidence to suggest
they expelled
that
diplomats.
the Indian government was involved in some fashion in the assassination of this Sikh. What are they? A pastor for all, or a leader,
a community
Sikh
leader,
church
like
leader.
yeah, like a local leader,
and very outspoken against India and the Indian government. And Justin Trudeau in front of the government, in front of television cameras, very explicitly called out India, and India wasn't having much of it. And both countries have expelled diplomats from each other's countries, from their countries. So, it'll be interesting to see how this plays out.
Starting to see like kind of sides starting to form here. If you've been paying attention, you can kind of start seeing like, oh wait, North Korea and Russia just had a nice little summit where Putin and Kim Jong-un were like buddy and looking at like Russian space equipment. Like, good luck with that, right? But let's be honest, that was all about, hey, you can provide us with artillery and ammunition and supplies, weapons, and we can continue our slaughter and genocide in Ukraine, and you can get some money. We've seen the Chinese and their aggression with Taiwan. And other countries like Japan in the South Pacific and South Korea. We've seen, Africa we've talked about all of the coups, the like 12 coups in like 7 years that have happened in Africa. We're starting to see some lines being drawn in the sand here, right? I think that so I want to bring up that Aunt Chris brought up a good point here, and let's park on this maybe a little bit. So should we, right? But like at the same time, what India has done is provided us with valuable information for our solar system, right? So there's a not like a net loss in that attempt. It's just that like we should be very more stringent in our ability to sanction and or deal with these countries that are clearly providing aid to what amounts to not necessarily our enemies, but in competition seems a little like treating it with like the light glove. Right.
I think India has kind of flown under the radar, and their government and their leader has kind of flown under the radar of, bad guy leaders in the world of today. Like, I don't think he gets enough press coverage in the quote unquote mainstream media, whatever, for some of the atrocities and some of the shit that he is up to, and the sides that he is taking, because India it's a significant country. There's a lot of manufacturing that is done there. I mean, they are a significant country in terms of number of people,
and also a nuclear country.
And they are also a nuclear country, right? They are a world. They are among the world powers. They're a low key, under the radar world.
They have a seat at the table, right?
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. And but he's like it's like the Legion of Doom, the Justice League the cartoon, right? It's like you have the Joker and the Penguin and everybody, but then there's also like the bad guys that sit at the end of the table that are kind of under the radar. They're like Aquaman's enemy and stuff, right? Like they're not Superman and Batman's enemy. Black Mamba's a great one. So, the leader, and I don't know, and the name is escaping me. The leader of India, their president or whatever they call him. Yes, Modi. That's right. That's right. He is. If you look, we could probably do a deep dive on him one of these days, and you'd be like, "Holy shit! How did we not realize that this dude was up to all of this nonsense?"
And that's on top of the situation in the caste situation, where they have like these really weird structures of society that
Right.
in India, and whatever you happen to be born into is unfortunately where you're probably going to live the rest of your life into, whether that's low level poverty, like the poorest of the
It's so
poor,
crazy.
or like medium
Like
poor,
really luck of the draw.
like or high level poor, or your low level medium or medium level medium, like the case.
Like your family is not allowed to move
uh,
outside of its where it's already is. It can move down. You can move down, but you're not going to be moving
with
up.
the
That's for
exception of
sure.
arranged marriages. And that's
Sure.
another such talk about the patriarchy, folks, which we do often. Uh,
Indeed.
and we rail against. We also rail against a lot of subsidies to the fossil fuel industry.
But we like to call that corporate welfare.
Well, Ben, did you know that according to Antonio Gutierrez, the Secretary General of the United Nations, he called to an end of these fossil fuel subsidies around the globe, which tops at a mind-blowing $7 trillion in
Again,
2022.
it's hard to wrap your head around how much that is.
You cannot.
Like
I
1
look.
trillion is more than your mind can wrap itself
You know what?
around. 7 trillion is 7 times that. That's come on.
We have a video at the end of the show teaser that is going to blow your mind about how fast the speed of light is.
Okay.
And what I'm going to say right now is I'm going to hopefully, if I can remind us all at that time we watched that, and we talked about what $7 trillion means. It's unfathomable.
So
You
much.
can't.
It's so
You
much.
can't. You could spend the rest of your life, every waking hour, full of ketamine and amphetamines, every possible waking hour, thinking of ideas, and you will still have money left over by the time you expire.
Right.
There is
I mean,
no end.
you could feed the homeless 10 times
There will
over.
be no such thing
You
as
could
homeless at that.
imagine if we put $7 trillion towards I don't know, cancer research.
1 year.
Yeah, just cancer research.
1 year globally.
Some sort of medical advance. How about if we put $7 trillion worth of research and development into renewable energies?
Hey,
what kind of progress could we make?
hey, famous Bill Hicks line. Can we figure out this food, air, and water deal?
Yeah. $7 trillion in 1 year. $7 trillion a year could easily solve.
You don't have there wouldn't have been 2 dams in Libya that burst due to infrastructure problems that killed what will end up being tens of thousands of people. There wouldn't be climate.
The tragedy in Maui wouldn't
Maui
have probably
it
happened
wouldn't.
if they were properly
The
prepared.
acceleration of climate change wouldn't exist if we said, well, why are we giving all this money to companies that make plastics when we know what they do to our environment? Why are we giving all this money to companies who pull things out of the ground, refine them at a net loss to the environment so we can drive cars? Well, we can power them by the sun. $7 trillion in just 1 year solves a lot of toothaches around the globe.
It takes us back to that idea that, if we wanted to, and we've proven this in the past with the space race back in the 50s and 60s, that if we put our resources and our collective mind power behind something, we are capable of accomplishing incredible things. But instead, we're spending that money giving subsidies to fossil fuel companies who are turning around and also simultaneously recording record profits and are lining the pockets of shareholders and investors, as well as executives in these companies. How does any of that? I mean, it just shows how fucking fucked up our government is, and that's why we're getting deeper and deeper. But that's why we have this divide in this country, because people don't trust the government because of shit like this. It's these types of stories over and over again of we're spending money on dumb shit that is obviously dumb and not helping anyone, and instead of putting these dollars and this energy behind things that would actually make a difference in people's lives. But obviously that's not part of the game we're all part of.
And
It's infuriating.
beyond infuriating, because we have the ability, like you said, it's a choice, right?
That's what's maddening
It's a
about
choice between fear and love, right? Ultimately, right? Do you fear the idea that somebody else is going to have it better than you? Or do you love everybody kind of equally and say, like, look, I might not have had it as great in life, but I want to make sure that you have it better. So let's kind of make spend our money in a different way, I guess. It is
so
It
disappointing.
is very disappointing, because if we're looking to evolve, this is not how you do it. Absolutely not. Ben,
Speaking of our government being full of fucking
douchebag,
nonsense,
fucking asshole, douchebag, whatever you want. Think about whatever 4-letter combination word you want to think of, and Tommy Tuberville will still not occupy the most egregious space in your vocabulary. But he is in the Senate, as he has been holding up up to actually right now 300 military promotions across our fine military apparatus: Navy, Air Force, Army, and Marines. 300 promotions for people who are being tasked with leading our military ventures for the next decades to come. Like, for whatever you think of the military, right? Obviously,
Right.
the might of it has been abused by this government, by this particular country, admitted. However,
Right.
this is not about that.
Right.
This is about the people who are leading our brave men and women who signed up to fight wherever we told them to fight for whatever reason. Promotions and progress in their careers. And that is nothing short of what this is. It is their career. There are 300 officers looking for a promotion. They should have a promotion. And some of these are like, well, the Joint Chief of Staff, the Commandant of the Marines, the head of the Air Force. We're not talking about just like generals and sergeants and that kind of. We're talking about the heads of the brain trust of our military that Tuberville has been stalling on votes for, which are generally, customarily done without argument. It is an agreed upon thing.
And what's he holding up? He's holding up over something that's completely unrelated, right? I was trying to find it in the story here. That's why I was kind of scrolling through the story. Refresh my memory here on what this guy's fucking problem is to begin with.
Because he's against any measure, any vote that allows funding for any military member traveling outside of their home state to obtain an abortion.
Gotcha. So some real douchebag shit.
So some really subjective, certainly douchebaggery, but let's be politically correct, very subjective and singular-minded ideals. Simply because you believe one thing should not apply that belief or constraints to any other singular person. And if
Yeah.
somebody in the military, because they value their career and the livelihood, want to terminate a pregnancy for whatever reason, should be allowed to do so. And if it's paid for by the military because they happen to be able to catch a ride in a very uncomfortable seat on a C-130, and just because because that C-130 was going wherever it was going, no matter what, and you're going to say that we're not going to pay for this type, fuck you.
This is what
How many times
happens when you elect football coaches to positions in government.
Imagine that. Bunch of fuck.
I mean, this is the kind of bullshit that you get when you nominate people that aren't qualified for the job for a job that they are not qualified for. You get them interjecting their own personal agenda into our government inner workings. Like this is nonsense that we are all that this is even capable of happening, that this one guy can take this his personal moral stand, and that it's all that this is, and hold up things from happening in the government over this petty nonsense. It's the whole thing is so goddamn
Thank
broken.
you, Dad and Brooks. Dad, would you consider a flight on a C-130 to be?
It's terrible. You didn't even get the question
terrible.
out. Yeah.
Awful. It's terrible. You actually, because of the fucking internet, you can Google what it looks like to be on a C-130 transport plane and see what it's like to sit as close as you can to somebody on a military transport plane without the modern accoutrements of the little fan and the lights and the little magazine, the Sky Mall magazine. No,
right.
Just a bunch of dudes.
The in-flight drink.
Yeah, none of that. So thank you, Dad, for backing me up that I know what I'm talking about and what a C-130 is. Yes. Told you I was an aviation.
The ridiculousness in our government doesn't stop there.
Ben, does it? Because that's not what the Republicans are talking about, right? What are they talking about? They're talking about the dress code. So, Ben, I was actually meaning...
This is the tan suit all over again.
I was meaning to park on this with you for a minute because I've got thoughts about this. And folks, let me introduce the story. If you're not aware, Republicans are in an uproar because the Senate is relaxing its dress code laws, apparently in some sort of acquiescence to the good new senator, the freshman senator from Pennsylvania, John Fetterman, who has a propensity to wear normal clothes. Now,
he dresses exactly like I do,
and
it's awesome.
I
love it.
That is the most comfortable dress look I've ever personally exhibited in my life as well. That I love fall weather, so hoodie and shorts is my thing too. No, is.
If he was wearing flip flops, he would nail my look.
See,
entirely.
that kind of nails where I am with the way he's got it going. I can clearly see he's got his like wallet and his phone and his keys and his like
in his front pouch. Yes,
pointing right to his crotch, just like I like to do. So
yes, and wearing basketball shorts, just like I am. I'm wearing currently. Yes.
Yeah, and a nice comfortable pair of shoes. Who doesn't like to dress like that? Now, Senate rules have now been relaxed for people who speak on the Senate floor. So, Ben, I put this story here to ask you this because I assumed that this would be a slam dunk idea for you. Do you think this is appropriate for a United States senator to speak on the U.S. Senate floor dressed like this?
Okay. It seems a bit egregious to go and speak on the floor of the Senate dressed like that. While I respect the person, his right to be able to do it, but there's just certain settings that you have to at least dress business casual. Put on a pair of slacks and a collared shirt if you don't want to wear a suit and tie. But I do think that you just can't wear a hoodie and basketball shorts everywhere, and certain things you just gotta dress up for. You could there are just certain situations and certain instances and certain places you're going to go where you have to at least wear a collared shirt and some slacks. And I don't think it's asking Fetterman too much to wear some slacks and a collared shirt. Now, in your office, when you're just doing your day-to-day work as a senator, wear whatever the fuck you want. Wear flip-flops and a fucking t-shirt. I don't care. But if you're going to come and you're going to speak and you're going to be put on record, and you're going to be on camera and you're going to be representing your constituency, all of those things, you should probably dress up just slightly.
And Chris,
I'm not asking for a lot. I'm not saying you have to go deep, but yeah.
Ben, I'm not gonna lie, I was looking for a fight here because I was thinking that I was hoping like, oh, this segment, like, oh, we've been in step and agreeing along the way, and like I gotta change it up, like I gotta throw a curveball. Like I know Ben's gonna be like,
you thought I was gonna be okay with that?
But
that's fair.
I agree with you because I think there's decorum, right? And I know Chris said like a wedding, right? But imagine like a medical set.
I don't know, man. I've been to some weddings in Texas.
Sure.
Weddings in Texas are different. Like I never knew this, but jeans and cowboy boots are acceptable at weddings. In Texas.
You're having severe chest pains, and you go to the hospital, and you get all this workup, right? Thank you, baby. I literally texted Gigi, said beer in all caps. It is the coolest thing ever.
She knew. That's why
the coolest thing ever. Ladies and gentlemen, another Dunkel. So you're in the ER. You're waiting to find out, holy shit, what the fuck is wrong with you? How do I get better? And the doctor walks in dressed in a hoodie, basketball shorts, and a pair of fucking bad gym shoes.
Yeah. You're worried about his ability to know what's wrong with you.
Immediately concerned, right? And I'm saying, okay, I get it. That's appearances, right? Appearances can be very deceiving. But again,
of course,
we're going back to the idea beer. We're going back to the idea that there is some decorum here, right? Mm-hmm. So I firmly am in the camp that if you have that type of job where it is like you should show up to court, and if you're going to speak in front of the judge.
It's funny she says that because I have been accused of dressing like Adam Sandler. Like there's a meme that's out there like about how the way Adam Sandler dresses, and I dress exactly the same way as Adam Sandler. But I walked into work not dressed for work one time. I popped in on my people at work one time, and I had hat backwards, wrestling t-shirt, fucking basketball shorts and flip-flops. And they were like, man, you dress like Adam Sandler. Like, everybody my age dresses like Adam Sandler. That's what we do.
So a Jason story. There was a day that I had to go into work, right? And no shock to anybody listening right now, I work in a hospital. So I didn't bother to change kind of what I literally showed up in the jeans, the gym shoes, and the t-shirt and the hat that I was wearing. And I had people literally going, because it changes what you look like, and that it changes. Yeah. So back to the premise of that story. If you're going to speak from a position of authority or command that type of attention, you should dress for the occasion. Like it or not.
And again, not saying you have to wear a 3-piece suit or anything along those lines. Just a collared shirt and some slacks, and we're good to go.
Literally. I don't know if you can see that. I just said beer.
Oh, it's kind of blurry.
Okay. It trust me when I said it said beer. Hey, Ben, do you want a break? We'll take a break from all this thought.
Yeah.
Hey, Ben, what would happen if you were on a super bullet train in Japan and a wrestling match broke out?
Oh, dude, this is one of my favorite wrestlers in the whole wide world. Minoru Suzuki. That's the guy that just met. That's not this guy. That's Minoru Suzuki, one of the greatest Japanese wrestlers of all time. But yes, I think this is for the DDT promotion. Yep. DDT does some crazy stuff, right? So DDT is the same promotion that once had Kenny Omega wrestle a 9-year-old girl. And they also had a match where Kota Ibushi wrestled a blow up doll.
See,
they do some wacky shit.
All right, so back in the LWF days, this mild manner reporter is proud to tell you that part of the tryout process was to have performers wrestle the Invisible Man.
Okay, yeah. See, GCW did that recently, not that long ago. Joey Janela, I believe it was, wrestled the Invisible Man, and they did it very well. Bryce Remsburg was the referee, and he was fantastic. Yes, they did the thing where the Invisible Man broke a table, broke a door. Like they did some hardcore spots with it. It was very clever. But yes, this is along those same lines. DDT is definitely not your traditional wrestling promotion in any way, shape, or form. So this is very, very on character. Do you remember this? What this reminds me of? Do you remember back in the day when WCW had the match between Dustin Rhodes and the Blacktop Bully in the back of the moving fucking semi truck? Yep. That's what this reminded me, very much like that, which is also, by the way, a very underrated match because Dustin Runnels and fucking Demolition Smash really have a great brawl in the back of a moving semi truck on pay-per-view. It's pretty incredible.
You know what they were trying to recreate, right? Was the WrestleMania match between Gold Dust and Rowdy Roddy Piper.
Yeah.
Like that, which was a ripoff.
Well, I think it was before. I think the Backlot Brawl was before or after. Was it after?
It was totally after. It was clearly a ripoff. Dustin Reynolds. No. Yeah. It was that WrestleMania moment with Gold Dust and Rowdy Piper was a total ripoff of the They Live fight scene, which is legendary. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, the They Live fight scene, well, folks, I don't know. You're kind of not.
It's widely considered the greatest fight scene in
all times. Ben, let me ask you a question. A very serious question here.
Sure.
Are you ready?
Uh-huh.
How often do you think about the Roman Empire?
Very infrequently.
Really?
Yes.
Oh.
Which is why when I saw this headline when I was getting stuff ready for the show, I was like, wait, who are these weirdos that are thinking about the Roman Empire? And spoiler alert, a lot.
Yes.
Are you one of those weirdos, Brooks? Because that strikes me
So
weird.
let me tell you a story, Ben. The other day, Gigi and I were sitting at the table going over our daily motions, and it was a lovely day. And one of the rare instances where she turned to me to ask me something completely outrageous and out of the question. And she just looked at me and she said, how often do you think about the Roman Empire? This is a true story.
For real?
One of the very few times she did not have the camera on my face in our entire courtship. Where she didn't have the camera.
She legitimately asked you
right
this question?
Here in my face. Hey, what do you think of the Roman Empire? It didn't happen. So this precious moment was not captured on camera. When I totally just looked at her and said, often, actually.
Really?
Are you kidding me?
I can't remember the last time I thought about the Roman Empire.
It's just because you don't understand.
For real?
What? You don't understand the gravity and the majesty that is the Roman Empire. That's all.
The only time I think I've ever thought of the Roman Empire is when I'm thinking about the fall of the Roman Empire and like comparing our demise as a country to the fall of the Roman Empire. That's like the only and the last time.
The Romans literally built the first highway system. Like literally.
I don't care. That was a long time ago. I'm not thinking about that. I got all kinds. You know what I'm thinking about? My golf swing. That's what I'm thinking.
Aquifers all over Italy, all over what we know is like basically Germania and Italy. They brought water systems to irrigation before we even knew what that was.
I don't have enough time in my day to think about the Roman Empire.
The second generation of democracy, the Roman Senate, right? Holy shit. Pontius Pilate he killed Jesus, Ben. Come on. You got to think about the Roman Empire.
None of that. Thanks for the irrigation, Romans. Yeah. Okay, great. I don't spend any time now that we're talking about them, sure, there's a lot of great things to talk about the Romans about and things that they accomplished. That's great. But on like a day-to-day basis, I do not think about the Roman Empire at all.
Not at all about their gold
At
armor
all.
and the
Nothing.
blood red robes that they had when they were marching, and their shield formations. And
I'm sorry, but
oh
no.
man, like
Sorry.
literally,
This is the one we're going to disagree about.
you don't think about the Roman Empire.
Yeah. So there you go. So you thought it was going to be about John Fetterman. Turns out it was about the Roman Empire.
Fuck. Sometimes the show doesn't go the way I think it's going to go.
Right. And that's the beauty of our show.
Truth be told, ladies and gentlemen, Gigi did ask me that, and I did answer that. She'll attest to that. Anyway, hey, folks, you ever considered what our galaxy looks like? And what a really cool exposure?
Sure.
Oh, we're getting into the video fun part of the show.
Whoa.
Those are satellites.
Those things flying?
Satellites and asteroids, my friend. Satellites and asteroids as the center of the Milky Way crosses the sky. So in photography terms, this is a really difficult and highly technological shot in that they had to have a camera that had the right lens and the right aperture set on a piece of equipment that turned in synchronous with the Earth's rotation.
Right.
And that's how you...
sense. And it's crazy because if you look at the bottom half of the video, right? It doesn't move
until you see the lightning.
The clouds move. Yeah.
So there are actually, and there's layers.
It seems like it's two separate pictures. That's the optical illusion that's going on here. Is that it's like two separate things.
It kind of is, and it's not a difficult shot to acquire. It just literally takes technology.
Because if you look at it, if you look at the clouds are moving in one direction, while the sky is moving in the other direction. At least that maybe that's just another optical illusion.
The Earth is moving in one direction, and the sky is relative to us stand still. This is literally a reflection of the Earth turning, not the sky turning, the Earth turning.
Right.
Wrap your head around that.
Wrap your head around. Yeah.
Wrap your head around that. Is that the sky, as far as we know, and literally, folks, we are hurtling through our galaxy at like 130,000 miles an hour. It's ridiculous how fast our planet's actually moving. But in relation to the totality of the galaxy, we're going to talk about this in a little bit. We are rapidly spinning as opposed to the center of our galaxy. So our planet is spinning way faster. This is not a product of the universe moving. This is a product of our planet spinning.
Interesting. That's fascinating. That's totally wild to just watch that and see like the depth of it's kind of mind blowing.
You thought about that shit, Ben?
No, I would have thought about that before the
Roman Empire fucking thought about that, Ben.
Oh, did they?
Ben, do you want to see one of the coolest, most intense sports moments that you've ever seen in your life?
Yes, I have. I saw this on social media. I didn't watch the clip, but I'm familiar of the clip. But yes, having a daughter in playing volleyball, folks, I have become a bit of an aficionado of the old volleyball.
Don't care what sport you like. If you like action, competition, and just human movement, the next 1 minute and 31 seconds is for you.
Dude, volleyball when played at a high level is incredible. So let's check this out. Oh no. Don't. What are you doing? We never have this problem.
Ever. We never have problems. Period.
We've never
ever.
I've literally never had this problem before. What the fuck? Hold on.
Uh-oh.
Hold on.
All these.
This
all
is
these.
bullshit. I'm gonna try to refresh the page
all
and
these
see what
things.
happens here.
It's a Twitter or
All right,
whatever
here we
the
go.
thing that
All
was
right.
Twitter.
Yeah, do they call it? Do you call it X
No.
or is it still Twitter?
It's like Sears Tower.
But the logo
It's like
is
Sears
changed?
Tower.
You just keep calling it. It's like the Rosemont Horizon.
Exactly.
Delay. It comes down for Rutherford on her side. A joust. Teeler stays alive with the point. Nebraska, furious rally. Rutherford, Rome to Delay. Punched up by Boesiger. Murray, denied. Murray, dug by Bevan. Over to Teeler, the middle blocker. Dug by her own teammate, Delay off the tape. A joust dug by Bevan.
Jeez.
Murray tries to overpass. Dug in the back row by Whitworth. Rodriguez. Teeler whacks at it. Dug by Rodriguez. Murray. Delay.
Shut the fuck up.
Rutherford blocked. Teeler keeps it alive. Both players on both teams.
How does this end? Incredible. That is awesome.
Now, if you're a fan of sports and can't appreciate that because it's women, you're not a fan of sports.
Man,
you're not a fan of competition.
That was pretty fucking incredible.
That was.
By the way, Nebraska's volleyball team, women's volleyball team. I don't know if you know. Side note: they recently had a volleyball match at the football stadium, the Nebraska football, and drew 93,000 people.
That's awesome.
To the it is I believe is the largest event for a college sporting event, a non-football sporting event in like history.
Certainly not more than the
93,000
that they drew at the Sky Dome for WrestleMania 3.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Everything. I'll focus
yeah.
back there. Hey, do you like volleyball?
I do.
Okay. Next.
This is a little bit different version.
A little bit, but would you do this, Ben?
Let's see. Let's take a look. Oh. Like, but once you dive out off of the platform, you're done. Like, now it's 2-on-1. Yeah, he totally left his teammate out to dry there. That's pretty cool, though. Would I do that? Yes. That seems pretty dope, actually.
It seems like a lot of fun.
It does, yeah. But I definitely think that I made a mistake by diving for that ball.
Yeah, but sure. But come on, it made for good video. We're talking about it, right?
It did. Yes. Not as entertaining as that other volleyball.
No, but it's a nice
entertaining.
little wash. But before we, I often don't post Reddit links here.
Yeah, well, it is very rare that we have a Reddit.
This one came from the WTF subreddit. And
which of course stands for what the fuck.
I just want to I'll just read the headline. When you try to answer a simple question but end up causing a ripple in the space-time continuum.
All right.
What's your name?
My name? Oh, let me tell you my name. I'm confused because like we're supposed to believe in the ministry, right? So is the church and state supposed to be separate? I'm confused because I never went to school. Right? Is a confused person get a resolution? I don't understand. You see, when you go like that, right, you have a cross, 2 sticks, right? And that's how I felt when I was in Waterloo. Because when I walked in Waterloo and smiled at people, they treated me like a vampire. They used a cross, and they went like
I'm with
this
Whack on this
by not smiling at me. In Toronto, hey, hi guys, you know me, Steve Spiros, easygoing. Those who know me, I'm a nobody. You
Toronto.
understand? And you can't kill a person with no body.
What?
So why am I afraid?
What the
I'm not
fuck?
afraid. I'm afraid of the boogeyman. Who's the boogeyman? You
Who?
figure it out.
Oh,
I'm
what?
getting out of here.
What?
I'm going back to Waterloo where the
Don't go.
vampires hang out. And I'm going
Waterloo?
to wear my sunglasses that night. You know why? Because women show their tits, have short skirts, and then they feel violated when I look at them.
What?
What the hell was that? Is the perfect embodiment of WTF.
What's your name?
My name.
What's your name?
She just asked him what his name was, and he went on a 1 minute and 31-second tirade about who knows what. The fuck?
The top Reddit comment was, "That's the longest name ever." And I agree. Folks, we talked about space.
What?
We talked about
is the screen fucked up on your all's end?
huh? What? Whose screen? What? I look handsome.
What's going on here?
What?
All right. Are you still with me, Brooks?
I am. Hello? Huh?
All right.
Hey.
So what? I'm completely thrown off now.
Oh, you should be, because that was a
What's
ripple
going
in
on?
the space-time continuum.
Brooks, I'm getting out of here. I expected it to fly away under so
Oh no. I feel like I'm being left out of something here. I'm not catching up with the screen. Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah. It's so great because that's literally all she asks is, "What is your name?"
Holy shit. I feel like I'm hello? Can you hear me? Hello?
I can, but we're getting all kind. I'm under all kinds of distress
Oh
here.
no. Shit.
I don't know what happened, but something got thrown off, and now the screen is all wonky.
Uh-oh. Well, Ben, if you ever wondered what the speed of light looks like on the planet Earth, I found a video that explains it.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be able to play it, but
Oh, no.
I'll do my
Uh-oh.
best here.
Uh-oh.
If it comes up, great. If it doesn't, I don't know what the fuck happened.
Oh, sweet.
All right, here we go. Hopefully everybody can see and hear this. Oh, shit.
186,000 miles per second. One trip.
Jesus.
Third frame. Fourth frame. Fifth frame. Sixth frame. 7. 8.
Wow.
That's how fast the speed of light is.
That's incredible.
That gives a new meaning to the idea. I'll be right there.
That's incredible. Okay, let's compare it to the speed of sound.
You would
Because yeah, thunder always comes after the lightning, right?
well, this is Mach 1. So this is the speed of sound. Very comfortable stroll through the planet.
That is much more comfortable. I'd much rather travel at the speed of sound.
I don't know. If you can get around the globe in like less.
Yeah, but it seems like it would take a lot out of you to go that fast.
So, okay, so this is a great comic book discussion. Like, you have to be basically invulnerable and impervious to anything and bulletproof as you were to fly at these speeds, right? Because if a bug like hits you or you ran into a bird, like what happens?
Right. Anything, right? Like any sort of particle, just like a leaf, like off of a tree at that speed would do incredible damage to you if you weren't
Incredible.
bulletproof.
So Superman, of course, it's built in. Like he can handle it. He's impervious. Nothing hurts him. But like if I was gifted supersonic flight and be like, oh, cool, and didn't think about the consequences,
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You'd be fucked.
naturally. And speaking of nature, speaking of natural,
Yes. Transition perfect.
ladies and gentlemen, let us call down the lightning. That is the lightning round, the most popular segment of the show. We've been dragging it out a long time. And folks, this is where the world's most dangerous chat zone truly comes alive. Why? Because what we do here is democratic in nature. And we enter 3 stories, 3 headlines into the world's most dangerous chat zone, the Thunderdome. And you, the people, decide which one we read and go through. So without dilly or dally, folks, headline number 1. He swam, hooking my arm with his penis inside the dolphin sex scandal that outraged a nation.
Dolphin sex scandal.
Headline number 2. My neighbor built a 250-foot fence of gross material after we fought over a property line. Now I can't open my windows.
Yes, I love petty neighbor stories. That's a good one.
And headline number 3. A family of bears broke into a Krispy Kreme truck in Alaska and ate 20 packages of donut holes.
Yes. There's a podcast about this dolphin story, apparently. That's crazy. There's a podcast about everything these days.
Everybody's got a podcast these days, Ben.
Yeah. Wait, what? Shit, is that what we're doing here?
Hey, let's go over that one more time, ladies and gentlemen, just in case you weren't.
Gross fence number 2.
Gross fence. We are, of course, waiting for the Orion Hansen remix. But let's go over these headlines one more time.
Yeah, one more time, because there's a lot going on in all of them. It's a good one. There's not one that just sticks out by itself.
Headline number 1. He swam, hooking my arm with his penis inside the dolphin sex scandal that outraged a nation. Headline number 2.
Hansen is in. Go ahead.
My neighbor built a 250-foot fence of gross material after we fought over a property line. Now I can't open my windows. And headline number 3. A family of bears broke into a Krispy Kreme truck in Alaska and ate 20 packages of donut holes.
By the way, oh yeah, sorry, whoops, wrong one. God damn it!
I am going to scroll down and check everything.
Son of a bitch.
We are in voting
All right,
mode.
this is what I want to put up on the screen. Alternate headlines from our boy Ryan Hansen. How about some bestiality? Shitty neighbors and bear snacks. So there you go. Number 2 is coming out of the gates
Hot.
Yes, running away with it. So number 2's got Billy Wack's vote, Biz's vote, Ryan Hansen's vote, Aunt Chris, Ma Jordan. Gigi's going with number 3, the Donut Bears, because she does not want to spoil her podcast. It looks like you are in no danger of having your podcast spoiled.
None.
The dolphin sex scandal sounds great. People do want to know. Always neighbor pettiness is always going to trump dolphin sex scandals.
I bet there was a tampon on the fence. That, sir, you can take any which way, and it's even more ridiculous once you even consider all of the possibilities. Headline number 2 is a runaway winner. So, folks, we're going to call it.
Adrian, you going to vote for it? It's going to put the nail in the coffin, so to speak.
A farmer had built a Oh, wait, you know what, Ben? Hold on. Because you got to send the link.
Because there's truly a picture of this fence, right?
Truly is, Ben. So, hold on. Let me send this to you.
The shit fence, of course.
As we shit fence. That's what shit fence.
Shit fence. That is the opening act for we've had a number of people.
Anything. Night of the
Number of
Super
bands,
says,
right?
shit fence. When your neighbors piss you off, shit fence.
Yes,
Because it's
Billy
full
Whack.
of
Make it happen.
manure. Shit
As a nod to our show, there should be something involving a shit
There's
fence.
a shit
somewhere.
fence. Folks, a farmer had built a 250-foot fence out of manure after a fight with his neighbor. Many homeowners have built privacy fences on their property amid neighborly feuds, but this farmer took it to the next level by using a building material that is sure to stink up the place. Honk, honk. Wayne Lamberth of Lodi Township, Michigan, a suburb of Ann Arbor, said that his neighbor built a fence out of cow poop after a dispute over property lines. Quote, normally they spread it on the field, but they decided to make a fence out of it. Lamberth told a local Fox affiliate KTVI, in April of 2021. Lamberth said the fight was about the farm that he and his neighbor live on. His grandfather developed the farm about a century ago, and the land was divided, he said. In 2020, Lamberth and his neighbor had an argument over the property line. And then the manure showed up close to Lamberth's house. Tenants living in Lamberth's house. What? Okay. Tenants living in Lamberth's house complained about the smelly fence. Quote, it's just a shit pile over there. End quote.
Quote of the day.
Hold the outlet. Coin Gatto. Let me repeat the name. Coin Gatto.
That's the guy's name?
CoynGatto. Said the windows of the house had to be shut because of the stench. I don't know what Coin Gatto sounds like, but this is my close approximation. It's like you can't leave the window open. The whole upstairs smells like it, Gatto said. The farmer defended his fence when asked about the poop wall. He said, it's not a poop wall. It's a compost fence.
Like he's getting mad about how people refer to it. It's not a poop wall. It's a compost
fence. How do you not know that?
Sir, what's the difference? What's the
When
difference?
the farmer was told that his neighbor did not like the manure, he said something inaudible about not liking the price of milk, and then he continued to work, the outlet reported. Local officials told the outlet that there's nothing that can be done about the manure fence since it's on the farmer's property. Whoa, I didn't see this when I was doing the pre-show read. For more farmer feuds, the U.S. Sun shared a story of a homeowner who wanted to extend his house at the expense of his ocean's neighbor's view. We're gonna have to look at. We might have a segment.
I think we have a new segment coming to Topic Thunder called Neighbor Disputes, and we're just gonna start doing
Neighborhood Feuds coming to you live.
Oh, I see it now. I'm gonna come up with a fucking little jingle for it.
Neighborhood Feuds. Fuck you. Neighborhood Feuds.
The pattiness is unmatched.
You can't go wrong with neighborhood feuds,
No.
feuds or fuses, and that is basically the crux of the show. Like feuds and fuses. That's what we do here. We ignite you. It's Topic Thunder, ladies and gentlemen. So, with that said, we appreciate everybody who contributed. Surely we had a good time tonight, even though we may have gone a little bit long, but I think we had a good time, right? Yeah. Everybody had a good time. So, folks, make sure you check on your neighbor. Love thy neighbor. It's the only way we're getting out of this mess, ladies and gentlemen, folks. honestly. So you can also join us every Wednesday, just about at 7 o'clock Central Standard Time, when life doesn't happen. So with that said, check us out on YouTube, check us out and like us on all those things, because it kind of matters. And props to our sponsors, which my good friend Biz, who is there developing shirts and get shiesty. So from all of us here at the USS Rapapa, we bid you adieu.